Dramatic next 5 days in the market. I'm about to take you through in this video everything we have going on over the next 5 days, and it's a lot. I'm going to tell you the whole tariff situation. Is this going to crash the market? If it is, how long is it going to last? We're going to discuss that. We have a multitude of massive companies reporting earnings: Palantir, AMD. We're going to go through the whole list. PayPal. We're going to speak about that in this video. Action-packed one. Then I want to go ahead and react to 2 specific videos up here after we get through all that. One is this one from the professor Jeremy Siegel. Tariffs are the only negative in Trump's economic agenda. Looking forward to reacting to that one. And then I want to react to this one. Fast money traders react to Trump's flurry of tariffs as well, so that I can kind of hear some other people's perspectives there and kind of share my opinions and perspectives based upon that, right? A lot going on here, folks. I appreciate y'all for being here. I'm going to try to keep you up in tune with everything that's going on this week. It is going to be a busy, busy week. This is going to be even a way busier week than last week was. And that's saying a lot because we had a lot going on last week. So I appreciate y'all being here. Only thing I ask from you guys is one thing only. Smash that thumbs up button. I appreciate y'all for being here. Additionally, if you want to subscribe to the channel, you can certainly be subscribed. We're approaching, I believe, 75,000 subscribers here on the reaction channel now, which is absolutely phenomenal. Thank you for being here. Okay. So big news: China, Mexico, Canada, tariffs, boom, boom, boom. First off, is this a huge surprise? No. Trump's a tariff man. We all know that, right? Is this going to hurt the market? I think that's an important thing we got to understand. Well, we got a hint of it, okay? If you're ever looking for a hint on the weekend about is this going to hurt the market, look no further than Bitcoin. The great thing is Bitcoin trades all the time. And clearly, Bitcoin is sending a signal. As soon as those Trump tariffs came out, Bitcoin dropped off a cliff and is continuing to drop. Listen, the moral of the story is Bitcoin can tell you a lot about sentiment. When sentiment starts to sour, get more cautious, scared, Bitcoin sells off. It's always like that. And I don't see that changing, right? Bitcoin is not a safe haven asset. It is an asset that does tremendously well when the market is doing tremendously well. When the Nasdaq's soaring and everybody's bullish and optimistic, Bitcoin goes beast. That's just facts. When the market starts to tank, people start to get more cautious, Bitcoin tanks. That's not an opinion. That's facts. You can look at the price action of Bitcoin. Look at the price action in, let's say, in 2022 when the market was tanking, right? And everybody got real.
I don't follow Bitcoin, so I appreciate Jeremy jumping into that.
Cautious. Bitcoin fell off a cliff. Look at Bitcoin in 2023, 2024 when the market was straight risk on. Flies to the moon. It's very, very simple in regards to that asset. So that's telling us a little bit of, of info there, right? But that's just part of what we have going on this week, right? And the tariffs are absolutely going to cause volatility in the market in the short term. There's no doubt about it. And there's no way this will be pitched as a positive unless Trump backtracks on the tariffs, right? And then maybe takes some numbers down to way lower amounts or something like that, right? If that was to happen, or he took off the tariffs completely, that could be seen as a positive for the market. But as long as these tariffs are in place, it's going to cause a lot of volatility. It's not going to be good for the market. It's only negative. Let's just understand that. There's no positive here unless he removes the tariffs or like the number got stripped way down from where it is right now, right? Now, after the bell on Monday, Palantir's reporting. This is a huge sentiment stock. This is a
So I'm glad he brought up Palantir because my last video, which you definitely should go check out, I broke down how I felt like Palantir was absolutely an incredibly bullish setup here. I went through all these notes on the screen here, and I definitely want to show you exactly what they meant. So go check out that other video. But to me, Palantir has a ultra bullish setup, but unfortunately, the market has decided to throw what I like to call a monkey hammer into it's decided to throw a monkey hammer into that incredibly bullish setup there. So I'm not sure Palantir is gonna get the opportunity that it would really want to, because I mean, like, we're pre-market right now and everything is down. Tesla down nearly 4%, the market down over 1.5%, SoFi down over 5%, Q's nearly down 2%, Nvidia down nearly 4%, Meta down over 2%. So like it's going to be a bloodbath out there for sure. And Palantir is just going to be right in the middle of that, unfortunately.
A huge sentiment stock. Let me be very crystal clear about that. And when I say sentiment, I'm really talking about for a lot of retail traders and investors, right? A lot of folks are investing in Palantir. I'm investing in Palantir. I've been invested for, several years now at this point in time. And it's treated me well, up 997% now on this position. But here's the deal. Palantir comes out and that stock tanks on Tuesday and for the remainder of the week, it's not going to be good for sentiment. It's definitely going to sour sentiment. However, if they come out and they come through with some epic revenue beat and then they guide higher for revenue for the next quarter, we're off to the races, right? And we could be talking about $100. So this is a huge one for sentiment.
I don't know. I think $100 on Palantir is quite aggressive. I've actually got Palantir's outlier data pulled up here, so let's take a look at it. We've got performance summary. So following the buy and sell signals, and outlier gave a 608% return. That's pretty outstanding. But also what I wanted to look at were the analyst ratings, because they're kind of all over the place, right? You've got UBS in December saying, neutral $80. And you've got Morgan Stanley underweight, meaning that they don't want to hold as much of it at $60. That came in January. And then you've got Robert W. Baird neutral $70 in December. It's currently trading at $80.44. So it's kind of all over the place. But we do have the buy signal come through right here. You can see the fear actually came into Palantir and now has come out. And now the greed's coming back in. But the greed is not ultra greedy like it was back here, right? The greed is not at that level that it was previously. And then the tech sector, the greed is starting to come back in, but it may have flattened as well. So we've got the fear and greed map right here for the individual stock, and then right below here for the entire sector, which I find incredibly useful. So I still say it's a very bullish setup here for Palantir going into earnings, but I'm not sure where it's going to go with the market getting monkey hammered today. But let me introduce myself real quick. My name is Christopher Ewell. I've twice been awarded top 100 people in finance. I was mentored by 5 of the market wizards, the best traders of all time. I've been successfully trading since 2009, and this is where we save time, make money, and start winning with less risk together as a team. Now let's get back into today's video. And of course, stick around to see how we rank this out of 10, and subscribe if you haven't done so already.
Now, I gave my full analysis and kind of breakdown what I'm expecting for Palantir in this video here on the reaction channel I did a couple days ago. Palantir.
By the way, we're running this at 1.5 times speed because it's a 34-minute video. The last video I did of Jeremy's actually was quite good. So I'm trying to get as much into this as we can. That would be super helpful.
Your stock is about to. So if you want more in-depth thoughts about Palantir, definitely check out that. And then in regards to when their numbers do come out on Monday, I would say I'll probably cover that on the main channel either Monday night or Tuesday, okay? Since Palantir is such a widely held stock, it's such a widely talked about stock, there's a potential I could post my breakdown of all their earnings, opinions, and perspectives on the reaction channel, but I would say there's a much higher probability I do it on the main channel, financial education, so do keep that in mind. Tuesday before the bell, PayPal's reporting. Now, PayPal not as popular as Palantir, but is still fairly popular, because you gotta understand, I'm up $81,000 on the stock now. PayPal was a stock a lot of people picked up in 2023 and 2024. Why did they do it? The reason is the valuation got too compelling in 2023, 2024. And so a lot of us started positions.
Ooh, let's take a look at PayPal's chart. This is brutal. This is ugly. All right, so this is what you want to know. Right here on the chart are what are called order blocks. Order blocks are large institutional orders waiting to be filled. If it's below, price is most likely going to use that as support and bounce. If it's above, price is going to use that as overhead resistance and really struggle to break through. And we have 3 order blocks here. Count them, 1, 2, 3. And some of these go back years, right? The further back they go, the harder they are to break through. So these 2 order blocks were created on the way down in 2022. I'm sure you remember 2022, right? It felt like everything was just going down. So in October 2022, and then again in November. Now here's a cool example of how well order blocks work, right? When this one was created in October 2022, came down, first push up into it, came down, second push up into it, broke again, right? It was rejected 2 times right there after it was created and created a second level order block. Now, price went by a couple months later, February 2023, rejected, right? You can't tell me order blocks don't work because I can show you that they work over and over and over. Let's go through here. Let's see, the next time it comes up into that area is now-ish, right? So how many times does it come up into these order blocks? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times that it's come up into these old order blocks, right? Imagine you are the institution. You've got PayPal shares that you want to sell when it gets up to this level. That's what it is, right? These are open orders waiting to be filled. And when it gets up to that level to sell, so you as the institution can get out of those shares, it pushes the price back down. That's what it is. That's all it is. And seeing this on your chart is incredible, right? I get this through TrendSpider. And if you want a discount code, you can put in the code 10minute to get yourself a 35% discount. But like, I couldn't trade without order blocks anymore. Right? They are amazing. So if we're looking at PayPal as a setup here, you've got the 10 over the 20, price over the 50. That's your outlier trend template, 10, 20, 50. It's still bullish right now. But with all this overhead resistance, I wouldn't touch this. Like, I don't mind trading up into an order block, right? Let's say I've got 5, 6, 7, 8% return that it's running up. The moving averages are all pointing up. I'm interested in that. But when it comes up into order blocks, you can see these rejections happen over and over and over. So I wouldn't trade PayPal at all. I wouldn't buy PayPal with your money. I'll put it that way.
In either 2023 or 2024 and added those positions, right? And now we're sitting really pretty. And so now we're all just waiting. Now, here's the phenomenal thing in regards to PayPal. Let me show you this. Check this out. Low expectations for PayPal. The expectations is they only do $1.12 EPS for this quarter. That's a very low expectation. And $1.13 for the following quarter. Very low expectations. Then if you look at next quarter for revenue estimates, only 3% for the quarter they're about to report here. And then if you look at next quarter, 3.8%. The expectations are very low for PayPal. If I think about a company that is extremely well positioned to come in and exceed expectations here, it's PayPal. It would be very disheartening if for any reason PayPal missed these expectations, okay? We should be looking at a headline on Tuesday after the bell. We should be looking at a headline that says PayPal beats earnings expectations and guides higher. Something like that. That should be the headline.
It doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to go higher, okay? I need you to also keep that in mind. SoFi is such a great example of you can beat earnings expectations. You can blow earnings out of the water and still be down 12, 15, 17%. And it's going to open up 5% down right now this morning. Blowout earnings do not mean the stock is going to go higher. Earnings are always a crapshoot, right? Nobody can tell you where earnings are like Palantir, right? Palantir looks amazing. From a setup perspective, Palantir looks incredible, but they could have blowout earnings and still fall. See SoFi. You could have blowout earnings and still fall. So like as excited as he is on PayPal, right? I mean, with all this overhead resistance up here, I would be very weary, right? Because only price pays, right? Price is going to pay those institutions as they come back up and they're at break even and they can finally get out, is what this is trying to tell you here. But if it can close over this around 94-ish, right, that's a tall order, right? You got to go from 88 to 94, you know, about a 6% gain right there. It could happen. It could absolutely happen. But I would be very weary on PayPal right here.
If the headlines PayPal misses, oh no, we might go back to the 70s. I'm not expecting that. That should not happen. But, you know, just understand that the expectation.
Most dangerous word in all of investing and all of trading is should, right? The should do this, the stock should do this, the stock should do that, right? You set yourself up for a whole heap and helping full of trouble if you decide to base everything on shoulds.
Expectations here are very low for PayPal. So I'm feeling really good about PayPal, especially seeing some of these other companies earnings so far that are kind of in the payments more related space. I think we're looking good. AMD's Tuesday after the bell. Now, AMD's big, right? I've been adding the stock very aggressively, very quickly here. And this is another one that I'm not the only one buying the stock here recently. I tell you, there's a lot of people that are out there buying AMD stock actively right now. A lot of people are looking at saying,
please don't buy AMD stock. Not actively, not passively, not any LE, right? Please don't buy AMD stock. Like, this is such a clear and obvious downtrend, right? If you're going to buy AMD, wait for its bottom to find itself, and then you can get back in at 115 or 120 or whatever the case is. And I'm going to show you an example of what that looks like. Let's go to Nike, right? If you wanted to buy Nike on the way down, right, you would have been hurting the whole way down, but you could have waited until it had bottomed and started to come back up. You still could have bought it at 76 or 75 or whatever, right? Waiting until it comes back up when that outlier trends template starts to turn north, right? You could wait until that point. You still get in at the same price, but you get in when the momentum is working for you rather than trying to catch that falling knife. So that's what I'm trying to tell everybody who will listen on AMD. Do not buy AMD right now. I can't tell you how much I want you to avoid buying AMD, right? They're going to give you, and Jeremy might even do it in just a moment, they're going to give you all the reasons why AMD is such a great company. It's got a great story, all these reasons that it's just so awesome. But the only thing that matters is price. If price is not going up, you really shouldn't be buying a stock, right? If price is going down, then that tells you nobody wants to own it. If nobody wants to own it, why do you think that you are the exception to the rule and you should own it? Right? It's like stepping on a train tracks and looking the train dead in the eyes and say, no. When I buy it here at 115, you're going to turn around. Okay. That's the bottom. I'm calling it right now. You're going to turn around. Okay. Because those same people like Jeremy were telling you that AMD is a great buy at 160, at 150, at 140, at 130, at 120, all the way down. Don't get suckered into this. If the price is going down, that means people don't want it. But at some point, it could, and most likely will, find its bottom and price will start going back up. I don't know how much it's going to go back up, but at some point, it's probably going to find a bottom and start to go back up. And you wait for that 10, 20, 50 to cross back the other way. That tells you the trend is going the opposite direction, okay? But until that point, avoid this. Avoid AMD at all costs. Please don't buy this.
I think this is a deal. I think we're getting a good value here in AMD, right? Especially if you have any sort of longer term horizon. No.
I think we're getting a good value in AMD. You can get a great value on it when price is going back up and it's found that bottom first, right? Again, 150, 40, 30, 20, 15. At any point down this, you could have said, oh, it's a great value and still be down 20, 30, 40%.
There's a difference between my hope on what happens to AMD versus what I think is going to happen. My hope is AMD comes out with earnings and, Wall Street runs with something negative. I don't know what it would be. Maybe they even beat their revenue expectations EPS, but it's something like something in the conference call happens, or Lisa Su sounds timid around the guidance. I don't know. So my hope is that happens and AMD stock goes down because I would like to buy more AMD shares, not less. I'd like to buy more. However, I don't think that's likely going to happen. We already got a lot of fear going into these earnings because of the whole Nvidia situation with DeepSeek and all that, right? And so
I'm going to show you this. And anytime somebody tells you to dollar cost average or buy something on its way down, I love to dollar cost average up. That means I'm already winning. If you are buying a stock on its way down because you're trying to dollar cost average into it down, you're already losing and you're adding to your losers. Paul Tudor Jones is one of the greatest traders that ever lived. And I've never had the opportunity to work with him. I would love to. But even he needed on his board right there a sign that says losers average losers. Losers average losers mean they buy on the way down. Losers average losers. Okay. Winners average winners. You can do that all you want. But like I say, you're buying a losing stock and you're just adding to your losses by doing so until it finds its bottom. And then you can buy it all the way up. Choice is yours.
You got a big flush of fear. You're going to have a flush of fear on Monday around tariffs, right? So you're going to get two big flushes of fear, which then actually sets up AMD very well to report after the bell on Tuesday going into Wednesday. So my guess is AMD probably goes up 5 to 15% on their earnings. My hope is it goes down. My thought is it probably goes up. That's my opinion in regards to AMD there, right? And so keep in mind, if the stock went up 15%, it doesn't matter to me. I'm not selling the stock anytime soon. This is a hold for me for likely the next several years. I mean, if you want to talk to me in 2027, 2028, 2029, 2030 about cashing some shares, we can talk then. And maybe I'll be willing to part with some of my shares then, but not in 2025 or even in 2026. This stock has a long runway of growth ahead for the next several years here. Now, Tuesday morning, there's a company reporting that, I'm telling you, this one, it could be, not a lot of people are going to be looking at this one because it's not a big name company. This is no PayPal. This is no Palantir, AMD. It's Estee Lauder, EL, beauty company, makeup company. They're reporting Tuesday morning. Now,
all right, here's a great one. Look at this. Finally, he's got a stock that actually looks beautiful here. Estee Lauder. Again, here's a great example, right? Rather than buying it on the way down, oh my gosh, how far down did this go? Oh wow, hang on, it goes even worse. Hang on. Now, my mom, who's nearly 80, loves her Estee Lauder. Hang on, good gravy. This goes way back. This has been in a giant downtrend. Oh my gosh. All right. I'm going to do something really cool. You're going to love this. This is called the market cycle. This is called the market cycle. Hold tight. Let me find it. This is called the market cycle. This is called Estee Lauder. Let me introduce Estee Lauder to the market cycle here. Goodness gravy. Are they not exactly the same chart? Are they not exactly the same? Good gravy. Now, here's the other thing though. On this side of it, right here, is where we start building this back up, right? After it's done all that is where it starts building back up. Now, oh, good. Did this have like reverse splits or something? It's down 80% from its highs in 2022. Goodness. What happened to this? I guess it's all the old ladies that are buying it, right? No young women are buying it. Jeez Louise. Okay, so it's down 80%. So let's zoom back in and let's again go through the outlier trend template, right? As you can see, the outlier trend template pointed you and showed you which direction it was going for months. It did cross over a little bit here, and you might have made $1 or $2 before it crossed back down, but it would have kept you from losing over and over and over again. And again, you might have made $1, lost $1 or $2 when this happened here, but it's right now showing to be in a bullish stance, which is great. That's what you want to see. I love trading stocks running up into earnings. That is a easy, I love it, fun trade to make. It's got, I don't know, it's got some room up to $97 up here until this order block 16%. I would still trade that. Now, because it's running up into earnings, I don't trade earnings as for many reasons we've already discussed, but this one actually looks like a brilliant setup to me. But then again, earnings can go all over the place. But you want to look at what a market cycle looks like. Perfect example.
Here's the thing with Estee Lauder. You want to talk about a dog stock that's been kicked and kicked and kicked for the last several years. That's Estee Lauder. No, there has started to become some momentum starting to come in the stock, right? Suddenly I'm up 14% on it. It's starting to show strength. But here's the thing with Estee Lauder. Because the brands are so loved, and actually Wall Street does love this stock. They just haven't loved it the last couple of years. But if you look prior to the past couple of years, this was a loved stock on Wall Street. If they come in and just report a decent earnings with a decent conference call, the stock is primed for an insane move to the upside. Because the stock has been, you got to remember, Estee Lauder used to be a $300 plus stock, and they still own all the great brands they have. It's just the numbers haven't been great the last couple of years. So it's an $83 stock. All they have to do is come in with a halfway decent earnings and conference call, and I'm telling you, the stock is going to rip to the upside. And you would be looking at a Tuesday to Friday move of potentially 25 to 35%. I'm not talking.
All right, let's calm down here, Jeremy. Calm down here, big guy. a 25 to 30% move in the span of a week on a stock that has been absolutely destroyed over the last few years, I think is that's some wishful thinking. Could it have a great move? For sure, for sure. I don't know about that 25 to 30% move in a week though.
Small. We're talking 25 to 35% upside from Tuesday to Friday. If they just come in with a decent earnings and conference call, if they don't do that, then obviously we're going to be stuck at lower prices, which I wouldn't mind. This is another one that I wouldn't mind buying more shares. I got $67,000 in stock, 68,000. Like I wouldn't mind. Estee Lauder goes down short term. I'd love to buy more because the brands are so great with this company. That the brands get, if you have owned many great brands in a company, they'll get you through tough times. And that's exactly what we've seen play out here with EL stock. Okay, it's gotten them through, right? Stock didn't go to zero. Stock didn't go to $30, $10. No, stock didn't go to gulag, $5. Still an $83 stock, and that's really not because of the management team. That's just because the brands are so great at this company. That's why it's been able to hold here. And then Amazon reports Thursday after the bell. Now, Amazon's phenomenal stock has done me tremendous. We're now up $140,000 in the stock in the public account, right? Amazon, I mean, they just come in, they beat. They do their job. They come in.
Again, another stock that actually is trending higher. That's what you want to see. If you're running up into earnings, man, I love this. 10, 20, 50 pushing higher. Let's look at the outlier data real quick for it. Hang on, I must have typed something wrong. Let me refresh the page. AMZN. There we go. Okay, while that loads in, I actually got into cash a couple of weeks ago, and on my YouTube channel, I put out a post saying, I think we are going to have a stronger pullback. Like I think it's just starting here. And that was 6 days ago. I said, market breadth is peaked. I'm going to cash for at least a couple of weeks until it reverses and starts heading back up. I think the pullback has just started and might start to accelerate. What do you think? Right. So that pullback right there that I saw coming was in the market breadth, which is this right here. You can see the market breadth pulling back in. This is the number of stocks that we're seeing with buy signals. The less number of stocks with buy signals means more stocks with sell signals, right? So it's a leading indicator in that case. So this is inside of outlier. So that leading indicator gave a giant red light saying, hey, I think things are about to pull back. And now we're looking at the SPY is going to be down at 592. So right around its 50-day, no, under its 50-day moving average, just out of nowhere, right? So you could have absolutely been alerted to that had you just followed along with the market breadth. I try and put out what I can on my YouTube feed here to try and help you out as best I can. So I'm always trying, always got your best interest in mind. But let's go back to Amazon. Let's go back to Amazon. This one looks brilliant here. Now let's see what Outlier has for Amazon. So it's got a buy signal that came. That buy signal came on January 24th. Mark where that is. All right, decent buy signal. Made a couple bucks on it so far, it looks like. I would just be really wary going into earnings, right? You see the greed got sucked out of it. No fear really came into it, and then the greed's coming back in. The greed's coming right back in on the discretionary sector. So this has a very bullish case to me. I like Amazon going into earnings, but who knows what earnings are going to happen after it.
They beat. A lot of times they guide higher if they do guide. Amazon's not a stock I stress about at all. And always remember one thing very simple in regards to Amazon. Always remember this. Every dip's a buy. It's just a truth.
No. Amazon, maybe. But let's go back. I'm sure there was some point where it went down for months. Right? 2022. Yeah. Right. Just because it did go back up, right? Hindsight's 2020 here. That doesn't mean that it will, right? Of course, it went from 143 down to a low of like 81, right? I am not super stoked on losing 42% of my money, right? I'm not excited to see 42 cents out of every dollar evaporate. And that could continue on for ages. See AMD, okay? Don't buy every dip. Please don't buy every dip. If you're going to buy a dip, wait for it to finish, wait for the outlier trend template to turn around and start pointing north, and then that's your buy, right? If that's what you're going to do, wait. Here's a great example, okay? September 2023, it had a high of around 145 and came down all the way down to a low of 118. Goodness gravy, how long was that? So an 18% decline, right? And maybe on the way down, you're like, oh, I want to buy it at 130, okay? I want to buy it at 130. Well, if you bought it at 130, the outlier trend template didn't cross at all until here, right? So 10, 20, 50, actually this candle right here, right? That's your buy signal. So that saves you mental capital from being stressed out for, who knows how many days, couple weeks, couple months. That saves you actual money in your account capital, because you can go and invest in other things that are actually performing well. And then if you are going to buy the dip, this is the opposite end of the dip, where the dip is done. You can see, and I get that a lot of people don't understand, how do I know when the dip's over? 10, 20, 50. When the 10 is over the 20 and price is over the 50, that's the outlier trend template to tell you that it is done. The trend is going the opposite direction. Okay. And there it rocket ships. So not every dip is a buy. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and let's scoot over to ranking this video. So do me a favor in the chat. I want to hear what you think of this video so far from Jeremy. Covered lots of stocks. Didn't get to as much as I wanted to. We covered, how much of this video did we get to cover? 11 minutes out of 35. And I was playing at 1.5 speed. I was really trying to get through this one. I'm going to throw him into number 5. I would have given him a higher one had he not said Estee Lauder is going to move 25 to 30% by the end of the week. And then every dip on Amazon is a buy. It can be if the dip finishes and then comes back up, right? Don't buy it on the way down. If you're buying it on the way down, you're doing exactly what Paul Tudor Jones would say, right? Losers average losers. Just winners average winners. That's what that means, okay? Winners average winners. So I would throw it as a 5, but I want to know what you think. And of course, tell me in the chat what you're trading. We got a lot of stuff going on this week, right? We got Palantir, we got Tariffs, we got everything going on, right? Don't forget, only price pays. And of course, come back tomorrow. We'll help you save time, make money, and start winning with less risk together as a team. YouTube's going to recommend a couple videos. I'd recommend you click one of those videos and watch some more, and we'll talk soon.